Hey everybody, Oliver Najad here. Welcome back to Players Network Live, and I've got quite a little treat for everybody over here. You've seen some movies, and you've seen her all over Hollywood, and now she's in the poker circuit, and she is a World Series of Poker champion. Please welcome Jennifer Tilley. How are you, Jennifer?
I'm fine, thank you.
I see you got a new piece of hardware there on your left wrist.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the bling. When I used to play the World Series of Poker on my computer, and I won it a bunch of times, and then I just got tired of having a bracelet that you couldn't wear, and I thought, I'm going to go to the World Series of Poker, I'm going to win me a real bracelet. Right. But I never thought it would happen. It's one of those things you say, like, I want to be the first female president of the United States. I mean, it was that improbable.
Now, you didn't go over to the gift shop and pick that thing up.
No,
you actually
I did
earned
not.
it blood, sweat,
I
and
wondered
tears.
I was wondering if people could just knock it off and make a whole bunch of them, you know, because it seems pretty simple. But it's just fabulous. And I love that this year they put the diamonds in. You know, they have the 4 little diamonds there, because I saw some from last year, and they have enamel, and enamel doesn't go with everything. No, but this bracelet, it stacks really well.
A woman of your stature should be wearing diamonds and gold, my dear.
Thank you.
Now, you won this in what event?
I won it in the Ladies No Limit event, and the ironic thing is I was almost not going to play it. My boyfriend and I have been here for almost a month, and I played a lot of tournaments. You know, there's a tournament almost every day, and I basically was doing it so I wouldn't get bored. Well, you know, I love poker, but you know, it's like my boyfriend is playing in the tournaments, and if I'm not playing in the tournaments, just hanging around, that gets pretty boring. Or I go over to the Bellagio and I shop, and that gets pretty expensive. And
absolutely. Now, how much did you take home for this first place?
$158,000.
Wow, that's no small chunk of change.
I haven't taken it home yet. I still have the check, and I'm waiting for Phil to go with me over to the Wynn Hotel so I can put the cash in the lockbox. Because that's what poker players do. Yeah. They don't trust banks. They take the money and they put it in a big wad, and they put rubber bands around, and then they put it in a lockbox, and then they lose their keys. So I want to do everything the real poker players do.
Absolutely. Now, you played your heart out in there. Tell me about some specific hands that came down. I mean, do you remember? I mean, that was the whole thing a blur?
It was just crazy. I almost didn't play it, like I said, because ever since I met Phil, I've been waiting for him to make a final table. And it looked like he was going to make a final table that day. And I said, you know, I don't want to be playing some stupid tournament, losing my money when you're on the final table. And he said, honey, you really should do the ladies, because maybe you'll have edge, and it'll be really great for you to play with other women, because you know as well as I do, at the tournaments there's usually maybe one person for one female for every 3 tables. And I was very interested in the woman aspect and how they play versus the men. It was really a great day. It was great to see so many female poker players from all over the world, and it's great to see that some of them didn't really know they were doing that.
Absolutely.
So I think the key when you're playing in a tournament is to amass a chip stack early on, because it gives you confidence. And at my table, there's only one person I recognized at my first table, which was Cece Mortensen.
Oh, Cece, yeah,
she's a great player.
Carlos's wife.
Yeah, she ended up at the final table with me. And it was funny to see her, because I see her socially. She's like, hello, Jennifer. And she wears the little matching ensemble.
Little ball of sunshine.
Yeah, I mean, she's like the cutest girl. When I saw her at the table, I'm like, hi, Cece. She's like, hi. She's got her sunglasses on. She's like,
all of a sudden
I'm over business.
Jennifer who?
I was like, oh, I don't know this Cece, the champion Cece, which is sort of what
alter
happens
ego.
to me. Is I morph into, when people see me on talk shows and I'm very chatty, and I tried that on poker, it doesn't work, because the more you talk, the more people know about your hands. And I'm fidgety. I used to shuffle my chips, and then I realized I had a really bad tell. Whenever I had a really bad hand or I missed my flop, the chips would go everywhere. Yeah. And so now when I play poker, I put on my sunglasses. I'm very still, and I don't move at all. When I'm in a hand, whether it's a good hand or a bad hand, I just make sure not to move at all. So.
I definitely can speak from experience, having played poker. You get real nervous, you got all your chips out there, you're waiting for somebody to call.
Yeah, it's just good to be really still. My model for poker demeanor is Hoyt Corkins. I saw him on TV and I thought, that man's rude, because people would say, hey, Hoyt, what do you have? And he just sits there like this, like he doesn't hear anything. And then I realized, no, it's not move.
He's not deaf mute.
It's discombobulating, you know, all's fair in love and poker.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how is the notoriety that you've received from having won the Oscar of Poker here on your wrist? Well, how does that compare to the notoriety you get from your Hollywood work?
It's obviously crazy, and it's different when you're in Las Vegas. But everybody here knows about it. I think people, when they come up to me, like before when I would go to the World Poker Tour, I loved it. It was World Poker Tour, I think, very refreshing. refreshing because I tag along behind Phil, my boyfriend, Phil the Unabomber. Laak.
Yeah, if you don't know already.
People go running up to Phil and wanting him to sign, you know, their hats and their boobs and, you know, whatever else they have hanging out. And nobody would pay much attention to me except for the gamblers love Let It Ride. You know, there's a lot of Let It Ride fans.
Right.
But now, because I've won the bracelet, people want me to sign their playing cards and their poker memorabilia. And it's a little overwhelming. After I won, I went to bed for 3 days. After I got out of the casino, I went to bed for 3 days and did not leave the room because it's like, oh, I can't take it, I can't take it. And I really felt like the universe had shifted. My idea of myself as a not very good poker player had to really be revamped. I had to sort of rethink who I was. And it's so bizarre. I mean, it's like I won a NASCAR race or something. I never in a million years thought I would have one of these.
Now, what about your idea of yourself as an actress? I mean, how committed are you to poker? Do you want to be a professional poker player?
Article that came out in a magazine. I was kind of joking around a little bit, and I got a phone call from my manager yesterday. He goes, Jennifer, it's not very good for it to be in print that you're giving up acting. It's like Jennifer Tilley folding her cards in Hollywood. It's like, no, I'm saying that. No,
something
you enjoy
totally different.
Yeah, you know, I am very fanatic about the poker, but you know, acting is basically what I do.
That's your passion, that's your main commitment.
I have 2 movies coming out. I have St. Rel coming out August 5th, which is an amazing movie with Campbell Scott. Very heartwarming. Okay. And then I have a movie coming out in the fall with a Terry Gilliam film called Tidelands. I play a crazy junkie.
Well, we look forward to both of those. How has your
Thank you.
acting helped you in poker? I mean, do you find that you're putting on a show when you're there and you're not being...
Well, I think when I first started playing poker, there's... I did a movie called Dancing at the Blue Iguana where I played a stripper. And the thing in acting, they say, it's the magic
What was the name of that movie again?
Dancing at the Blue Iguana. Okay, yeah. It's at the DVD stores.
Beautiful.
But when I played a stripper, we hung out at the strip joints, we danced, we bought clothing at the strip place. And so you get into that mentality. And when I was first being a poker player, I know this is really stupid, but I was like, okay, I'm going to learn how to shuffle chips. I noticed what they do. They all shuffle chips. So I started learning with that. And then I kind of wore baggy clothes and was sleep deprived and ate bad food.
Sleep deprived. You're assuming the role.
And I tried to pick up all the poker lingo, which now I find very annoying because amateurs are always like, oh, you river to straight. And I'm like, yeah, I read those books. So that was my first thing. And then I think the way that the acting helped the poker is that when you're an actor, you're very in tune with the emotions of your fellow actor. You work off of that. And I got into some weird sort of zone as I was heading into the home stretch of the tournament, is that I felt like I could feel what the other people were thinking. Like if there was just like a glimmer of fear or a dab of uncertainty, I was really zoned in and I picked it up on them. And also too, I tried to be as intimidating as possible. And lots of times when I'm playing poker and I'm bluffing, let's say an ace comes up on board.
Don't give away any secrets.
Okay, but I go, I have an ace-king. I go, I'm in a calm, secure place. I have an ace-king, best possible hand. And I really believe it myself. So lots of times I will think of what the hand I'm trying to represent is, like, you know, a set of 9s or whatever. And I just try to send out those thought waves. Hey, you'd better fold. I have a set of 9s,
now,
you know.
Not only do you have the acting in your corner, but you've got your boyfriend, Phil Laak,
I have my secret weapon, Phil Laak. He's over there,
I mean,
hiding behind the camera.
Such a phenomenal player, such an accomplished player.
He's kind of a genius. In the beginning, it was very annoying because I would ask him questions and I would want a simple, straightforward answer. Right. You know, but there are no simple, straightforward answers. And he was like that teacher in high school that you hate that would give you so much homework. And in the beginning, I felt like it was just an effort to sort of keep me busy. He would give me books to read. He'd say, read Sklansky. Don't come back till you read Sklansky.
Did you read them all?
Yeah, I come back. I was like, okay, I read Sklansky. It was horrible. It took me a month. Now what do I do? He goes, read it again.
Yeah, it's
like,
not horrible. I'm telling you, that's you got a bracelet on your wrist, and it's probably partly due to.
But he knows all there's tons of poker books out there, but he knows all the really good poker books like Harrington on Hold'em, and I read Barry Greenstein's book that isn't even out yet, which is the advantage of dating a poker player. Yeah.
Now, who are some of the friends that you've made via poker? I mean, meeting Phil, you've opened up a whole door to the poker celebrities.
To me because even before I met Phil, I was a huge poker fan. You know, they call them poker groupies, and I have to admit, I was one of them. And so when I started meeting all Phil's friends, I was like, wow, you know these guys? You know, like Robert Williamson or Chris Ferguson, Gus Hansen.
Antonio
Esfiandari, you know. I mean, I know I'm on a first name basis with all these guys.
Look at you, hobnobbing with all these people.
They touch me. They're like, hey, congratulations on the bracelet. And they're like, fondling me. I'm like, I'm being fondled by top poker players.
Cool. Now, by virtue of your association with them, have you been able to get information on poker from them as well?
Well, they all talk poker all the time.
Okay,
Phil goes, I do not talk poker all the time. Sometimes I take a break, and sometimes we go to movies. So I'm going to say Phil's friends all talk poker all the time.
Oh, but Phil doesn't.
Just hanging out, listening to them, you pick up so much in the way that they work and things that they do.
I mean, I don't know if you were involved in any other previous World Series of Poker, but this is the first year that we've got something like this big lifestyle convention and all these booths, and it is really exploding, and it's great that you came on board right now. What's the experience been like for you when you get your eyes opened up to just the magnitude and the gravity of the industry?
Not to slam the reel, but it's incredibly annoying when you're late for your poker tournament that you have to go through a mall to get there because they blocked off the direct route to funnel people through here.
Are you listening?
Yeah, that's very annoying. But
other than all the cigarette smoke in the hallway.
But other than that, you know, I'm a big shopaholic, and I cannot wait to get at those booths to get my little poker T-shirt. I told all my friends I'm gonna get them World Series of Poker T-shirts and the poker memorabilia. There's some great books they're selling. The Stu Unger book I read, that's like a fantastic book. So I love poker stuff. I'm always like, I tell you, I'm a poker groupie. I have all the poker stuff. And you know, the belts with the little cards on them. And
absolutely. And you've got to tell your friends to log on to playersnetwork.com. Absolutely.
Can you buy stuff on the playersnetwork.com?
Maybe I'll start selling some stuff. I'll sell this interview. I won't even let them download it for free. No, I'm just teasing. Playersnetwork.com. Tell all your friends about it, and everybody out at home should definitely log on and check out this interview. And we'll be on Comcast on demand, so you know, people can watch us whenever they like. Jennifer, thank you so much for stopping by, sweetheart.
Nice talking
Good
to you.
to see you again. I'm going to toss it to a commercial. You guys meet us right back here on Players Network Live, where we'll have another interview for you.